Now, there really is no doubt in saying that by far one of the best characters within the Skywalker saga is Anakin Skywalker, portrayed by actor Hayden Christensen in the prequel trilogy by George Lucas, and exactly what could have been for the sequel trilogy if Kathleen Kennedy did not intervene. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the thing about Hayden Christensen, alright, is that we do know that a lot of fans, when the prequel trilogy, hit theaters, be it episode 2 or 3, a lot of fans really criticized him over his acting skills and the dialogue that he was essentially given by George Lucas. Now, we could always argue as to why Hayden's performance was a little flip-floppy in episodes 2 and 3. I will admit there are moments in episode 3 where it just makes you lean back and say, wow, that's an amazing performance. I mean, really well done, job well done, give him a clap. There are moments like that, but there are also a lot of moments in the prequels where you can see that how Hayden had to deal with the dialogue. It almost pretty much forced him to act in it in a specific way that really rubbed fans the wrong way, right? So when we look at everything of what Disney is trying to do now, what they're really trying to do is that they're really trying to make things up for the Star Wars fans. Obviously, Anakin Skywalker was supposed to be a big deal in episode 9 before Kathleen Kennedy deleted him from the movie and took him out of the second and third acts of episode 9. It really was going to be something substantial that really led to pretty much nothing. Only us hearing a little voiceover of Hayden Christensen from one of the original scenes that he actually filmed for episode 9. So, what's really exciting about Hayden as Anakin Skywalker is that he is getting more chances than ever before. Now, Anakin Skywalker is by far one of the most popular characters within the Star Wars universe that so many fans have been upset over the fact that he did not make the cut with The Rise of Skywalker, which was his only chance to come back on the big screen within the Skywalker saga itself. Now, it's said that George, John, and Dave are working very hard on bringing back Anakin Skywalker into the new Star Wars universe in order to make things right for the Star Wars fans around the world. It's described that Hayden Christensen is already hired for the Kenobi Star Wars TV series on Disney+, and that they are already beginning work on a massive scene that will in fact involve Hayden as Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker in the new series that is still set to release sometime in 2022. Let me stop right here for a second. In case you guys did not know, Hayden is actually going to be a big deal in not just the Kenobi Star Wars TV show, but other Star Wars TV shows out there that are going to be in either animated and or live action form. And this is all rooted by Bob Chapek, the Disney CEO, and George Lucas, who is really taking control over a lot of different aspects of the Star Wars universe. And that we can definitely thank them for. Obviously things are heading in a more positive direction given that Kathleen Kennedy has little to no creative power as we speak. Now, Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader / Anakin is going to be a big deal because there's going to be one particular big scene in the Kenobi TV series that's actually going to be a scene that's going to cost not only a lot of money, but will also use new technology. Now, it's described that the scene is set to begin filming sometime in April of 2021 next year, with Hayden portraying Anakin / Vader in the form of a vision where he will fight Obi-Wan Kenobi on the world of Tatooine, where it's described that Ewan McGregor has already met up with Hayden to rehearse the scene and how it will be done for the new Star Wars fandom to enjoy. Now, this massive scene is set to be a flash fight, if you will, something that J.J. Abrams originally wanted to use in The Rise of Skywalker. The flash fight between Kenobi and the Vader / Anakin vision is set to involve both Kenobi and Vader fighting each other on Tatooine that eventually will in fact morph and transform partially into the world of Mustafar, showing Darth Vader's massive castle in the background to give it an epic tone for the fandom to watch. So that's a very interesting point. J.J. Abrams wanted to actually use these flash fights, if you will, where you have a battle between a hero and a villain, and the environment around them changes, morphs, transforms, if you will. That really gives the fans, I guess you could say, a trippy experience. And I think that's going to be a very interesting touch on Star Wars. It's kind of something similar to what we saw with the Worlds Between Worlds with Dave Filoni, and it's something to that extent, something to that level of craziness that they are really trying to establish within the Star Wars universe. That, to me, I think is a bit of a risky move. I'm not quite sure how a lot of fans out there will, accept this, the fact that they are going to meddle with flash fights. I think it's awesome. I don't know about you, but I think it's an amazing concept that is going to be brought to a reality for the actual Star Wars community to actually see at home. So, further, alright, it said that this scene will in fact involve Darth Vader in his armor, fighting Kenobi on Mustafar in the form of a vision, and is said to be Disney's way to give fans a what-if fight between Kenobi and Vader in the suit on Mustafar in a brand new way that will surprise the fandom once it arrives. Now, this big change is described to involve other creators like Dave Filoni and George Lucas that will make key decisions and choices on the scene in order to make sure it keeps the prequel trilogy tone intact for the fans to be happy with. So keep in mind that this particular scene, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to have a lot of money being poured into it. It's going to be a very high budget episode, if you will, that's going to involve a lot of choreography between McGregor and Christensen. Once again, this is bringing us pretty much to flashbacks back to 2001 or 2, give or take, when early plans were being established for Episode 3. And also it brings us back to 2004, where Ewan McGregor and Hayden were doing a lot of training for the scenes. Now, Hayden Christensen, is said to have a brand new Darth Vader suit in the series' vision sequence that will be modified in a sense to how it looks 8 years after the events of Episode 3. Now, the Mustafar battle is said to take place on the ground and over the lava, similar to Episode 3, but in a different way to keep it original yet similar. Now, Hayden's scenes, Hayden Christensen is actually said to use a red lightsaber blade against Obi-Wan's blue blade for the actual segment that will be a true game changer. So that's the big deal here, is that in this Kenobi show, they're not only going to focus on his solitude, his isolation, if you will, and how he's dealing with his loneliness and hiding from the Empire and his best friend that survived and became Darth Vader. They're also going to really tap into Kenobi's mind, what he's really dealing with within. And McGregor has talked about this before in previous interviews, that this show, one of the big enemies is going to be himself. How he deals with isolation and how he deals, with being alone, and how that's going to take a toll on his mind and body. That, to me, I think is going to be a very interesting angle to Star Wars. They kind of did it with Luke Skywalker, but it did not work well with a lot of fans. Again, I think that they should have done it in a more minor way in the sequel trilogy, where Luke is seen in isolation maybe for a segment of The Last Jedi, and then he just bounces right back to becoming more positive and optimistic because Rey has arrived. They could have just done that. But this Kenobi show, I think, is really going to be very well written. It's going to be amazing. I think Deborah Chow, by the way, is really going to pretty much have a major impact on the show that a lot of fans are going to react to and say, that actually is very movie-esque, because that's what they want to do. They want to make the Kenobi series feel like an actual movie. If you look at The Mandalorian, with all respect, there are aspects of it that feel low budget at certain times. It's a great show, but I feel that there are some moments where you see that some scenes are high budget and some scenes are very low budget. That's just how I see it. I don't know if you guys agree, but the Kenobi show, they want to keep it consistent. They want to actually make it look like a movie. Look like it has the budget of an actual feature-length film. That's exactly why more money is being poured into the Kenobi TV show than The Mandalorian, because they know how important of a character this really is, and how they are already using a previous actor who portrayed Kenobi. So, like I've said before, guys, I think that we really are in for quite a treat when it comes to Star Wars. A lot of things are really shaping up before our very own eyes. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them once again.